country brand new. Start the journey today. Log on to training.nti.org.bb to equip every Bajan with the knowledge and skills to be citizens of good character, confident and creative. Bajans achieving excellence, competent in a digital world. Smart born heroes, we are aiming for every man, woman, boy and girl. Make the country brand new. Start the journey today. Log on to training.nti.org.bb. Yo, Mr. Blog, he just kinda wanna say it. I feel ready for this one. Ready for this one, yeah. Oh God. I get the feeling. A sweet, sexy feeling. The way how you whine it. All right, here we go. 30 minutes for the compliments of the NTI. Midweek Mindset, that is the name of the vibe. Feel the feeling. Feeling the jump down and walk away race. That's from spice down to bridge down. When we walk the stage, we winding down to the music. We stepping down to the music. Oh, I get the feeling. A sweet, sexy feeling. The way how you whine it. I get the feeling. I come up to jam and take over.
Hello? Hey, David. Alright, so the Zoom seems to be having successfully yesterday. Early the rooms that you would have set up, they're gone. And everybody who tries to get in, although maybe, call your head.
Sweet, sexy feeling. The way how you whine it.
What about it?
When you rock on top of it, make a visit. When I visit, and I touch your property. Bumper going up and it going down.
I know that before performance.
Girl, you're pretty, it's a nice but I can't give it.
Wait till you put out.
Sometimes you just walk up and you go and sometimes you must bypass. Sometimes you impress, sometimes you get through. Sometimes you just wind up and you go and look back at you. Hey, you get it on. This is baby love. She tell me come on me, boy want me. Come on me, boy want me. You so cool. This is baby love. She tell me come on me, boy want me. Come on me, boy want me. Hey girl, when you roll it. Hey girl, when you roll it. Show me how you can roll it. Show me how you can.
That's not an option. I could, but you know, it's like he's always be jumping in and out, so it'd be hard for me to turn on and turn off.
Sometimes you get through. Sometimes you just wanna buy you go and wine and look back at you. Where you get it on. Disrespectful. She tell me come on, man.
Just about 22 minutes ago, before we hit 4 o'clock, here we go as we slide inside. Midweek Mindset, big shout to our friends over there at the NTI. Sluggy Dan, as usual, is in studio, but he's far away still. I can tell people where you are. You can do that if you feel like, brother. But good to have you on air. What's up?
Intended for primary and secondary teachers. Listen, teachers of here, intended for primary and secondary teachers of and connecting. This is this level offered by the Museum of Modern Art, Roma. Museum of Modern Art. This course is approximately 9 hours to complete. Oh, that's pretty one review. That's a one review.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy this online course. They gain a lot of knowledge, which they can apply in the teaching here and other things. Which that is phenomenal. So this course is helping teachers and teachers helping teachers and teachers alike. NTI continues to amaze me. I can't believe NTI has a course using our sound and movement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's teaching teachers how to teach using our sound and movement. So they are helping teachers to make their classroom work fun. Then teachers don't listen, you teach. You might go and follow students because you know how to use dance or movement or sound or art to still get your point across, to still get yourself to teach. And the course is absolutely free. And the good thing about this thing is called my boy is bringing me back and very, very polite. The good thing about this thing is I start with on the bit of this.
Tell me.
And take got this thing source me and prayer. Even if you're a teacher, you can pretend about the course.
It is true. It's open to everybody.
So the teacher can do it right, and the students in the class can do the course too.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking studies in direction. But you can put my foot in my mouth to ask if you're off here. Teachers, this course is for teachers, right? But if that you will say yes, the student will do it the same thing you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could get best again in the world that's being changing.
It is true.
Yeah,
Big up to the NTA, always finding these courses are always relevant and innovative. At the same, I don't know how to get it done, Sluggy. They're amazing over there for real. Big up the team at the NTA. Learning how to learn. Mm.
So if you covering those two spectrums alone, you're covering, but it will be phenomenal. You could go and learn how to learn, or you could learn how to teach. Not or, and.
And
So to correct myself.
yes.
So it's not or at all, Barbados. You can learn how to learn and learn how to teach. That's absolutely phenomenal. You got a special guest on the inside.
Mm-hmm. I turned the screen on now so you can see.
Yeah, bigger and bigger to everybody. Not talking to them, crazy over here in London, you know, on a little plane day trip. Let's see that national peace program.
Mm-hmm.
Or all you portal taking Irish youth who never got opportunity to bank overseas, taking them overseas and giving them a new experience. We have glove over guns in Barbados. We come normally to visit glove not guns. We come to take away some of the game, you know, see some of how they deal with their youth, their Irish youth, you know, and see how we can make that
Well, of course,
that match, that marriage. And I hope in the future, like my brother teacher overseas, Scott will read out his bio, but I hope in the future too, other Bajans all over the world can reach out and let me see how we can continue doing cultural exchanges and push Barbadian art and culture all over the world. I make no apologies for that. Scott know personally for the last 10, 15 years I work on pushing Bajans. My next 15 years I dedicated to taking Bajans all over the world and creating our imprint all over the world. So salutes to everybody on the mission right now in London. And I gotta say biggest to the NTI for allowing me to work, allowing me to be an ambassador and still giving me the freedom that I could go anywhere in the world and do what I do. So if Scotland don't get it that sleep, you know, they can ask for a better career, can ask for a better job. So I gotta say a salute to the NTI. Scott tells us about this outstanding. I keep saying every Wednesday, we just meet some Bajans that you never hear about that doing so much phenomenal work. It's like, nah, we gotta let the work here with these people. So Scott, let Barbados hear what Bajans doing all over the world.
I gotta send a huge shout to this man in the studio right here. His name is Shawn Alleyne. He's an artist who expresses himself in multiple forms of creativity. He's a freelance visual artist, a writer and inker, a teacher, and a spoken word artist as well. Born and raised right here in the 246, he now resides in Philadelphia where he uses his gritty, self-taught techniques to produce literary and visual work that fuse the elements of sci-fi, mythology, hip-hop, and Afro-fiction with his Caribbean roots. As an educator, he has taught his comic book literacy and arts workshop nationally and internationally, as well as privately and publicly for the last 12 years. He has partnered with numerous after-school institutions, libraries, and organizations to provide the youth with courses that are both fun and challenging. You can view his art and find out more about Shawn, and his company, Pyroglyphic Studio, on Instagram at Pyroglyphics1 or at www.pyroglyphicstudio.com. Big ups to yourself, Mr. Shawn Alleyne. What's going on, sir?
Appreciate that. Good, man. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me, man. It's an amazing feeling. Thank you.
Now again, you over the Sluggy. Sluggy's got some very pointed questions, so you be ready.
All right, all right. You know what? I would love to. I would love to. I actually did a course. All right, let me hear it.
Then how can we get you to help us since you are so willing?
All right, so that's what I like to hear, man. I need to talk to people with power in places and positions like this.
Aye.
So, all right then. So we gotta go all the way back to 1993 and blame my parents for taking me to the island. All the way back, pre-Instagram, pre-Facebook. Jesus, I can't believe it.
Pre-MySpace too.
Oh Lord, there's a lot. But yeah, man. You know, I was born and raised here, and then the parents was thinking about the whole the myths. You know, the land of opportunity and the trees falling down with money and all that stuff.
Over there.
Right. So you know, they packed me up, shipped me and my brother to Philadelphia. Was there ever since. And over the years, you know, I was doing the art, but then eventually I got into teaching as well. So, you know, it just became the new home. And I gotta be honest with you, right? At that stage in my life, being a kid, I guess it was a part of me that didn't think of coming back to Barbados.
How old were you when you were
I was 16.
packed up and shipped over there?
Right, I was 16, 17, just finished foundation school, and it was a case where this is your new life now. You know what I mean? So it was like I wasn't even really thinking
At 16.
At 16, I wasn't really thinking about like Barbados as being like a like a place to come back and forth. It was just like, all right, I guess I here now in America. This is what I gotta do, right? Yeah. So it wasn't till 2012 that I first set feet back on the island, and from there it was like, what was I thinking? What was I doing this before? Why wasn't I coming back and forth? So I started coming back and forth ever since then. So shout out to Omar Kennedy and Matthew Clark. Those were the two people instrumental in helping me get back here to Barbados. But I did teach my course here with Miranda Fergus. She is a teacher, and she started a little small program helping young girls to empower themselves. And she said, Shawn, I see what you're doing over there. Can you teach the class here? So I did do it once, and I would love to do it again. So, you know, I just hopefully, you know, talk to the right people, like I said, the people in power, because there's some red tape in Barbados too.
Yeah.
There's some
it's
red
not
tape.
as easy as it looks.
Yeah. I was trying to do it. I was trying to see how I could get in touch with more schools. I went to foundation. So I reached out to foundation, and another friend of mine is a teacher. He was a teacher at Ellerslie. I was reaching out to some people, but I guess there was some tape and some stuff gotta get cut.
So didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Right.
But I ain't give up. I would love to be able to bring the course down here and get some of the youth on board.
So you got your answer for question number 1.
Right there, right? Like bureaucracy, it was kill dreams in Barbados. Right, and I'm glad that you was brave enough to mention it. You get me? Like, I appreciate you being man enough and standing up when you scream mentioning it. Because people is be begging to help, and I think they want Barbados here to sign it, the government here, they want the government here called. It work for the government. I think that it be so insulting when people begging to help. And we don't need the help. We need the help. And like, man, we alright. We ain't alright. We ain't even close to alright. We desperately need the help. Why you keep creating the red tape? I want out there to listen to me. Let go of somebody strain, man. Ease when I hand off a little bit. When you got like you are a teacher overseas, qualified teacher and also an artist. Looking to help and it's right here. For what? No. If you get the opportunity to help, how do you feel your course can benefit Barbados and the youth by extension?
This man got some good questions for sure.
I tell you, you're gonna be ready for Sluggy.
Let me make sure I got the name right. You're doing a program called Love Over Guns. That's the name of it? Yeah, Glove Over Guns.
Yeah.
All right. So anti-violence movement is that's the
National
okay.
Peace Program.
Peace program.
Yes.
Okay. So I teamed up with an organization in Philadelphia called Mothers in Charge. Right. It was started by two women who lost their sons to gun violence.
Wow.
And they've been doing programs for years, 20 years, I believe, just trying to empower the youth and bring some change to the violence in Philadelphia. And I don't know if you're aware, but it's called Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad the murder scene getting. So
Castle, who's also a millionaire, just got his son killed, and he's one of the most loved people in Philadelphia, and his son just got killed in Philadelphia. I thought a man named Gilly.
Yeah, Gilly the King, yeah, it's a shame, man. But to touch on the red tape thing real quick, I knew a lady, shout out to Summerilla Fitch. She was working as a consultant with Mothers in Charge. And she called me one day, she said, hey, Shawn, I know that you program. I think we could team up and teach a class with Mothers in Charge, an anti-violence class. A week later, it was ready. Wow. Just like that, you know what I mean? We sat down, we came up with the curriculum, we worked out the things we was going to do, and that was it. So and I love Barbados, but that's sometimes I do get frustrated.
So a week later, it was ready and it was accepted.
It was institutions, everything. They told her the ladies who were the head of Mothers in Charge, especially Michelle. Shout out to Michelle. She was like, Summer, just do it, right? Me and Summer sat down, we talk it out in terms of like, what's the curriculum going to be, what we want to hit on. And like I said, I already had the structure, but we just had to tie in the anti-violence movement. Right. And I feel like that's something that, based on what you just said, something that we could bring to Barbados. And basically what it is too, let me describe the course. What it is I teach kids how to create their own superhero characters from scratch. Right. So it's part where it's literacy, it's arts, but it's also about freedom of expression. It's also about tapping into that other side of them, the imagination, giving them something to occupy their time and their mind. And you'll be surprised, a lot of the characters that these children come up with, incredible. So I'll be honest with you, I feel like we gotta start like another department and do some, see how we can expand it to movies or video games or something like that.
Or even comics.
Because I just be like, we need to do more with these characters, right? But the whole the other side of it too is not just the imagination and the art and all these characters, is the fact that then Summer comes in with the counseling side of it, right? If this character was real, how could it really make a change in the world? By extension, you are this character too. What is the change you want to see in the world? How can you better? Because one of the mandates is the characters can't use guns, and they have to come up with ways. The powers we came up with, I forget, it was like 100 and something different powers on, instead of just them creating a laser, them just punching. What's some other powers that we could come up with that can help these characters resolve the conflict with these supervillains, right? So then we asked them in real life, then tap into some of your experiences. You had a problem with a bully, you got some issues at home, and by the time we finish, you'll be amazed to see how these children are looking at problems in society differently and the ways they're thinking of how can we make a difference. It's incredible. It's one of the greatest feelings, especially when they're coming off gate, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. I don't like this. the end of class, right? We used to do it like 8 weeks, right? But, Mr. Shawn, I got this character, he did this, and we doing a transformation.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be able to bring some of that to Barbados and help the youth see the power in the self.
So again, wish you weren't truly to see this smile on my face, because this sounds like something to even me. I would love to create a character. For real, this is amazing.
I sure everyone in the studio know. I know who's slow with it right there, but we know that you could be no one, not popular, and offer things like this, made $300,000 and $400,000 a year, be considered a failure. You could be considered a failure in the world making $400,000, but you know that a Bajan you, that's heaven, that's glory. You know that's everything. So the matter the people not really understanding how big the world is, how global this is, and how important things that this is. So Shawn, besides the money, and I asking Scott this year too, because Scott said he excited. I want Scott to tell me why he feel courses like this help the youth to develop so quickly, and then I want Shawn to share what areas he purposely target when he doing this course. Because you hear Shawn tell me about money, all Shawn talking about is the mindset, the development at the end of the 8 weeks where it goes. So he talking about taking them from one stage of their life to the next in that short space of time. So I know he got a targeted approach and a purpose approach. I want Scott to tell me why he think courses like this helps so much with development, because Scott and I are around the same age and we do enough. So I know personally from doing, it could be Cub Scouts, Scott, it could be cadets. I know what these things do for you. But I want Scott to tell Barbados why he feel things like this is help so much with a child's development, because it's important the powers that be here in these conversations.
It's important, Sluggy, because not only is it exciting, but it's engaging. You know, it encourages you to use your imagination and stuff. So when you focus on this and creating this character and what's he gonna do next and all that stuff, you're not technically focused on nothing negative. You understand? So this is why we need more stuff like this, in my opinion.
I can't put it no better. I back you 1,000 on that. You're bang on. Now, Shawn, I hear you mention about the 8 weeks process, which means you got a targeted approach. Why do you take this approach as opposed to the fast food approach?
Because a lot of people think that it's easy to just come in and change a person's mindset, right? But you gotta understand that we're dealing with children that went through a lot of trauma, So it takes multiple sessions. So and sometimes it don't feel like that's enough, you know. But one of the things that we would like to implement is probably aftercare meetings with the children. You know what I mean? See like how they're doing, like a week later, a month later, because that really tell the
So they can assess the progress.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a case where and plus is a lot too. It always amazes me when people see me draw something and they might be like, yeah, you know, I used to draw too, you know, I could do that, man. And they don't realize all these steps that go into taking the art. So we have to break it down for the children to make it digestible for them. You don't want to overwhelm them in the beginning. So normally the way the class is set up is once a week, 2 hours a week, and we come in and then we break down into writing, we break it down into drawing, and then different parts of the drawing too, breaking anatomy, perspective, character design, talking about the personality of the characters. There's a lot of different steps, and then like I said, bringing the trauma part of it, right? Having them write compositions, having them share stories of what they're going through in school, what they're going through in the home, doing power slides and stuff. It's an in-depth course, is an in-depth curriculum that touching on a lot of different aspects of mental health.
I was about to say, this sounds like it covers almost everything in a very fun way.
And that's the thing, you know, trying to make that balance too of keeping it fun. So even the slides we use when we're talking about mental health, it all ties back in the comments. So you got somebody like the Hulk, anger issues, right? You got somebody like Superman, who people may see as the perfect person, but even Superman deals with issues, him being a quote unquote alien, right? And having to suppress his alien side and try to blend it with humanity.
To try to be normal.
To try to be normal, right? And then see the worst of humans. And then somebody like Superman, he could just go berserk and wipe out the planet if he wanted to. You know what I mean? So be dealing with that in real life too. Even Superman, the choice of not to kill, right? And then you got somebody like balanced against somebody like maybe the Punisher, right? But then why does Superman take this path? Say again?
Spider-Man always broke.
Spider-Man always broke, right? Dealing with issues and like, having to pay rent, having to, but always having to be responsible, do the right thing. A lot of these has come back into the into real life. So at the end of each lesson too, we give them a directive. So we'll do like a quote, right? Great power comes great responsibility. Everybody knows that's from Spider-Man. So the power might be their voice. The power might be an action, right? And then we talk about the responsibility we have as a community. Then another quote is from Iron Man. It's from Spider-Man. But Iron Man said to him, if you're nothing without this suit, maybe you don't deserve to have it. So we liken the suit then to like a gun, right? And why do you feel then that you need a gun to feel powerful? So there's a lot of elements that we need to take our time and break down.
So if we need this in Barbados, make it happen. He has a little power.
Peace program, the National Peace Program, I can tell you for sure, you can look to work with you for sure. My responsibility, and I can announce this because this is one action happening every single community, every parish, every zone. So you can announce it on here. My responsibility is working in every single parish, every single zone, every single community, and finding things that the young people want to do. And the minister came on my radio show and he said, as long as it's positive and it is legal, he will support it. As long as it is positive and legal, he will support it. And this is positive and completely legal. So the blessing in disguise. I'd be thankful because usually these conversations with just good dad and got nothing to do. I never go in the corner in the radio show and just fret to myself or call Adrian Green and talk about 5 hours and he hears it, that's fret. But no one gotta do that anymore. All you gotta do is tell the boy put pen to paper and send me. So I'd be extremely thankful. But I hear you speaking about social issues, like like Spider-Man, Brett, Superman suppressing feeling. I'm sure God not people Superman feel like killing. I could guarantee you, because people always want killing. So you sure you're not people feel like killing and don't do it. Maybe all they could do it. When you speak about these social issues and even these mental issues, you think it's important that we use the arts to speak about these things? And if so, why is it important?
Because I think from young, everybody used to draw. Everybody used to create, So is even if you don't have the technical skills there to be this amazing artist, every kid wants to tell a story. And I think what's happened, and I understand the mentality, but I think what's happened is a lot of times people is try to steer children away from the arts. Right? So they say, but you gotta make a living, you gotta do something proper, man.
This can't pay you, we can't support you.
Right, exactly. And love my parents. My dad, he did that same thing where when I first came to America and everybody saw I could draw and stuff, they said, well, Shawn, there's no money in comic books, so you should be an architect. So it's prestigious. I tried to get into the technical school, couldn't get in because of my immigration status at the time. And I remember going home and telling my dad, well, I wasn't able to get into the school. And he said, yeah, no problem. Get a job! Pay some bills in this house. And the next day went out and got me a job and charged me rent. And like I said, I was 17. Wow. He wasn't trying to hear about my dreams and my life like that. It was like, but it was he was being a practical man of like, hey, this is how you make it. This we got.
Because that's what it was then. Right. That's kind of sort of still is actually.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And I think that's why there's an issue now in terms of like people still to this day respecting the arts and not just comic books. And I think it's important that we bring that back and show children that it's okay to be an artist. It's okay to embrace that. It's okay to have fun. Even look at so many grown men that they may come with when they do like different classes. Because sometimes, like I said, I do it at the library, after school institution. So I might have the parents sitting with the kids for those type of classes. And I'll slide them on the character design sheets and say, yeah, you going to draw too? You go, I don't really do this. Then by the end, they do with the children coming up with a whole character and stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they people want to express that side of themselves, and this is giving them a platform to do it. And I feel like the more that we encourage people to be themselves and to tap into that creative side, like the more free it feel. I know for me, there's nothing that thrills me as much and it makes me feel as free as when I'm being more of a creative. And I've done all kind of jobs. I was a chef at a ballet school.
What was that first job that your dad got you?
It was at like I guess the equivalent would be like a Woolworth or like a department store.
Right.
So it was just stocking shelves and folding clothes and taking all these stuff and you know when we open up and putting them on the sidewalk and stuff like that. You know, mindless work, mindless. And yeah, over the years, you know, the drawing fell to the side because I was worried about okay, I got to pay bills and survive. And then I kept doing the art in the background, and slowly but surely it led to me doing conventions, getting more clients and stuff like that. And like I said, my last like job I was working at a chef at a ballet school and we got laid off. And at that time I said, all right, I got these clients. I get in a little let me get this little unemployment check and try to do the art. And I'll never forget the day when the unemployment check ran out, right? And I called him. And back in the days, it was easy. You just fill out a form every 2 weeks and boom, you get a check. And I remember calling like, I don't have my money. Where's my check?
Right.
And he said, oh, it ran out. I said, what? Like, I was like, that could happen? And that feeling of like, oh, I got to rely on this art. Like that, you know, is a real thing. But I'd like to let you know, it may not be for everybody. But if you stick with it and if you do the work, you never know what could happen. So it's important that we stress this. And I started to go on. Not just from a business side too, right? From freeing your spirit. I do a lot of things that I don't even think about the money side of it. I started a comic book networking group for people who are in the pop culture world, like artists, writers, cosplayers, whatever. I didn't do it for no check or nothing. I just wanted people to come together and fight off each other and build the community. And I think that's what you gotta do to contribute back to society.
That's so awesome, right? And I heard you say that Snow, you might not even go and make a career out of it. So I take it you're telling me that courses like this can benefit persons even if they don't need or want a career in art. Courses like this can still benefit persons. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because not everything is for everybody. And I live in the bio, I said I'm a creator, so I have different forms of expression. So this could just be one avenue for a kid to get a release, to write a story, even if it's a point where, you know, I dabble in a little spoken word, you know, and on the level of Mr. Adrian Green here or nothing like that, you know what I mean? But that is another outlet for me, just to put words to paper and get another part of my creativity out. And I feel like that's important, once again, to stress the arts are more than just about money. You know what I mean? Is a feeling, is a vibe, is your life, is your spirit. And you put out something today. It may not be for you, but you don't know what that thing you create could do for somebody else. I have a piece. I started doing these pieces for I call them affirmation cards, right? So it'd be an image and then be a word tied into it, like manifestation, right? What do you want to manifest? And love, illusionary, and it's talking about love. And then I did a piece that it's called Ascension, and it's this piece of a girl floating. And when I did it, I thought it was a throwaway. I was like, nah, this ain't really that good. Nobody gonna like it. That's one of my most popular pieces when I do conventions. Wow. And everybody that looks at it gets a different vibe and a different feeling. Say, Shawn, I love this. I went through something like this. I needed this piece. So it's not just for you. You know what I mean? I think anybody that's really into the arts knows that is about what you put in back out into the world. And I think a lot of these kids, sometimes they don't have that access. They don't have they don't have that person telling them like, hey, you can create something and it's okay not to monetize it. Not saying you shouldn't make a living at whatever you do. If you're good at it, you know, make money and we have to live. But sometimes put stuff out there for the world, not for just
express yourself.
Just express yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
.org.bb. Over 5,000 courses free. If you don't believe me, you can ask my buddy Shawn Alleyne. He's right in your Hot 95.3. We are hot on the spot with my brethren Scott LaRock. We reign supreme with my boy in the background called Adrian Green. NTI, I won't lie, there's a course for every single girl and guy. My brethren live in Philadelphia. They call it Philadelphia. But we are using art to break stigma from around you. We are using our culture and creativity to preach to the nation. This ain't just me shouting, this is a physical and a spiritual vibration. Wanna hear the spoken word? Scott, hear the spoken word?
Yo, you're switching up this week, but you're bad though, Sluggy.
Huh? Wanna hear the spoken word? Oh, Shawn Alleyne.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking before you go out to Philadelphia, you're an artist, we can work together. But are you going to give us a sample of one of your pieces before you go out to Philadelphia? You're live on national radio.
Speaking of samples though, Sluggy, he actually has about 4 comic books in here with him. But you can't see them, but you gotta hold them up and show us, Sluggy, and you gotta give us a little piece of spoken word before you go to.
Dad, we're talking about plug your plug, man. Plug your plug.
I gotta shout out the street team crew on this too. Oh, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about, right? So I say this real quick. So I was doing, you wrong for putting me on the spot with the spoken word though. But I was working on a piece, right? It wasn't coming out how I wanted it.
Right.
So I was like, man, I need to clear my mind. And I went online on this forum that me and these other guys used to hang out on called blacksuperhero.com, right? So it was a forum, dating myself once again, the forum. But it was all these amazing writers and artists and stuff posting up Nubian characters, right? When I say Nubian, I mean black. Yeah. So I went on there and they had these other guys that were creating kind of similar characters to something that I was working on, like these urban vigilantes, superheroes, like a Batman, Daredevil type, right? And I sit down and say, you know what, just for fun, let me do a drawing of our characters as a team, right? I did this drawing. It was a terrible sketch, but it was just about freeing my mind, right? I posted up, people went crazy. I said, well, if they're going crazy over a sketch, what if I did like the real drawing, right? So I did the drawing, posted up, nearly broke the forum. This guy that was on there, who was a web designer, he was doing a project for a video game, what's called it, like he doctorate or something like that, right, in video games. He hit me up and said, Shawn, I love the concept. I want to turn this into a video game. Whoa. I didn't even know who these guys were. We all had screen names and stuff, but we didn't really interact. I called him and said, listen, there's a guy that wants to make a video game based on our characters. And we came together, we did the video game, we started working on comic books, and we got signed for a live action movie deal just based off of a sketch. You know what I mean? So that's why I say all the time, just create whatever it is you do, put it out there, because you never know who's seen it and what's going to come from it. You know what I mean? And even if nothing was to come from it, just the fact that we wanted to get together and create something. Yeah. You know
that's
what I mean?
Amazing, Shawn. It might not be anything to you who did it, but to somebody else, it might be like, whoa, this is amazing. Let me make this bigger than it already is. Spoken word though, you can't get away from that piece.
All right, I'll see what I can do. All right, this put me on the spot. I'm too nice with it, but all right, let me see if I can throw some words together here. So, I was taught that words have power. Ironically, I learned this from a man who used his fist to speak. Drunk nights meant nobody was sleeping. Tom Jones on the radio blaring, rum salt ice stirring, the wrong noises led to beatings. So me and my brother learned the false safety of silence. But in those days, I saw words take a man from a godlike size down to a child. And he told me, words have power. So no, I don't just put words together that rhyme. When I think of the forefathers who hung like dead vines just so we could stand here to recite these lines, how can I not labor over every thought so that I could give birth to a piece of my heart? Because I was taught that words have power. And my goal is to perform lyrical alchemy and combine the elements of the divine with a sentence structure so sublime, yet exquisitely refined that when I recite it, my lips taste like the sweetest of... No, I don't drink. But I do get intoxicated with metaphors and similes intertwined like long-lost lovers on the covers. That's all you get it for now.
That deserves a bomb.
I get it. Put me on the spot, man. Put me on the spot.
Talking about you put you on the spot, Sluggy. I can't say so hard.
Don't do that.
Sluggy, we gotta put a wrap on it though. 13 after 4. I know. I hand over the baton to you as usual for the final words.
Beat over 5,000 free courses. Get involved. Great work. My brethren, Shawn, I love it. I love the work you're doing. Keep up the work you're doing. You're over there in Philadelphia. You're still so engaging. You're still pushing the movement. You're pushing the art. And you're looking to empower the youth and change mindsets. And any man, especially a black man, I am saying this proudly. Any man, especially a black man, that looking to dedicate his life to making the youth life better, I got all the time in the world for. You could be doing anything else, but this you choose to do, and you have nothing but love and support from me.
I appreciate it, man. It definitely means a lot. Shout out to everybody here who doing it. Shout out to Adrian, man. Shout out to y'all. This has me reinvigorated. So thank y'all for this opportunity.
Before you go, tell us how we can hit you up on IG and all that stuff. I know you're all over the place, hopefully.
Yeah. So you find me on IG at Pyroglyphis1, PYROGLYPHICS1, or go to www.pyroglyphicstudios.com.
All right, Sluggy. And thank you so much as well, sir. Mr. Alleyne, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday, 3:35 here on Hot 95. It's all about midweek mindset. Always amazing, mind-blowing guests. Every single week. It's always a vibe. 15 after 4.
To equip every mission.
So I was wrong. Nothing but nerves. When it first got out, I was like, I'm gonna walk in. It's done. It's a wrap.
You did it right.
Everything wrong my head.
If it's not, it came out for us.
That was very smooth. Appreciate it. Nervous? Nothing. Everything was gone.
Speaking of sexes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, but thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, we still on? I shouldn't say nothing too incriminating.
We still on.
Okay.
The biggest party in sport is back, and the Amazon Warriors want to go all the way to the title this year. CPL will be bigger, better,